Hey guys, welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I am your host, Eddie Ift. And today on the show, we have a very, very interesting guest. We have a couple guests. I did one mini interview and then a long interview with the world record holder of the beer mile. Now you're saying to yourself, what does this have to do with functional fitness? Everything. Because this guy, to me, shows that not only can he run a mile in practically Olympic time, but he can also chug 4 beers. And what's more important? He's amazing. He's, on like the national team for the Canadian team, but he also, he's probably more well-known from the beer mile. We talk all about that. His name's Corey Bellemore. Really nice guy. We had a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning, so please bear with us through the beginning. Also, I talked to my new buddy Johnny Beal over at Purifly, who I think all of you should listen to, because if you own a gym or go to a gym or are shut down or trying to get open, want to go working out back in the gym, just a report talking about gyms and how they can possibly spread COVID. Well, this guy's got a solution for you. And he's developed a kind of cleaning solution that will take care of COVID and keep your gym as clean as possible. So listen up to that. And I want to thank everybody that listens to the show. The reason I have Corey on is because on the 15th, Hunter McIntyre will be running the beer mile. All he has to do is break 6 minutes, and I lose the bet. If I win the bet, $1,000 goes to a charity. A buddy of mine has ALS, and I'm taking that $1,000 right out of Hunter's bank account and sending it right there. So a few other people are coming to run it with us. I'm going to run it too, I think. I've been practicing chugging beers. Haven't been practicing running. Who needs that? But I've been practicing chugging the beers. So I think I'm ready. I think I am ready. 6 minutes? No. 10 minutes? Maybe. Anyway, I want to thank everybody who listens to the show, everybody who participates. We do a thing where we give a Maya Pucks and a Leopard Claw every week to someone who donates at least $5 a month to the Patreon. If you donate $5 a month, you get a Patreon. Don't pull out then. Don't I won. That's it. I'm out. You got $5. I got a Maya Pucks and a Leopard Claw. Keep on giving. It's only $1 an episode, and I give you an episode every week of this amazing show, the best show ever. And I work really hard to get good guests, good content for you. And I will be talking about the CrossFit Games coming up in the next couple weeks, because it's that time. They're going to do the the online version, and then 5 lucky winners will go to Aromas, California. So maybe we'll go up and hide in the bushes and watch. I'm just joking. I wouldn't even go if I was invited. You know me. Anyway, so this week's Patreon, what you win, you could possibly win a Maya Pucks, which is an electronic muscle stimulator, which is awesome for any kind of injury to heal it much faster, because it expedites the inflammatory process and gets blood flow to where it needs to go. Same thing with the Leopard Claw. I got one right here with me right now. It's just working on my elbow with it. You scrape adhesions and it gets blood into the area and it heals it faster. So so you guys, if you're working out constantly, you need to keep up your mobility and your health, and this is one way to do it. So you also at the same time support the show, so you can win these. The winner this week is, we got a winner of the Maya Pucks and the Leopard Claw. I really need a drum roll for this, don't I? No, nobody gives a shit. The winner is, why can I never find our winner? Here it is. Our winner is Mona. Oh, God, why every time is it someone that I'm going to mispronounce your name, and then you're all going to, I give you something, and yet you're like, what an asshole. He couldn't even say my name right. I feel badly that I don't get your name right, but it's This one could go many, many ways. It doesn't mean I have a lack of respect for you. I totally respect you. I appreciate your donation to the show. I'm happy you won, but Mona Mametsuka, I hope I said it right. Could it be Mametsuka? Mametsuka sounds right. I think I did it the first time. Mametsuka. Mametsuka. I'm sure you get it everywhere. I get ifed, ifed, lift, if, you name it. So, I don't get upset with people. So please don't be mad at me, because I appreciate your donation. And Troy from Maya Pucks and Leopard Claw will be getting you your gifts very soon. And anyone else who has not gotten theirs, the Leopard Claws were out for a while. They have a new, they're even better, new and improved. And apparently they're going to be putting Wadcast on them. So those are going to be going out this week. So if you haven't gotten yours, don't worry. You are getting yours this week. So there were a few people that had not gotten them. Other than that, send us a message at wadcastpodcast@yahoo.com if you want to come out somewhere in Malibu. We're going to be doing the beer mile, either Pepperdine or Malibu High. Probably illegal. We're not supposed to be there at the track, so maybe I shouldn't talk about it. Other than that, I think we should just start the episode and talk to my buddy, my new buddy. I love this guy. He's an Air Force pilot. He's going to clean up all your gyms. So we'll first talk to my buddy Johnny Beal, and then we'll get into it with Corey Bellemore, the Beer Mile champion. And next week we have a really, really awesome guest. I already did the interview, and it was so much fun for me, and I hope you like it as much as I do. Like I said, if you like these interviews, there's people you want to hear, people you want to see interviewed, people you want to hear from, send me a message. Let me know. You can get me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm at Eddie Ift on Instagram. We have at Wadcast Podcast on Instagram. You should all be following that. And all these videos, with the exception of this one, end up on YouTube. We had too many technical difficulties. I think it was the Canadian thing. Just kidding, Canadians. But he had some poor Wi-Fi going on. So all these episodes are now on YouTube. So go check them out there and enjoy this episode. Hey guys, you know me. I'm such a caring individual that I'm looking out for you guys. I'm trying to get all the gyms back. Me, personally, I want to be known as like the new Greg Glassman. Everybody's going to be like, how did CrossFit reopen? Eddie Ift did it. It was all Eddie Ift. No, I do. I want to see you guys open because I just want to see men without their shirts on working out all the time. And, I got buddies. I got Mike Anderson down at Malibu CrossFit. I got Mike Tremello over there at Precision. I got David Paradiso down there at Paradiso CrossFit. I got Logan down at Deuce. I want everybody open. I want you guys open. So I'm talking to you, plus every other CrossFit gym I've been to. I found a company that, if I found a company that was like, hey, we COVID test everyone as they come in the door, we have a secret test, I would tell you. I would be, but I didn't find that. But I did find a company that will clean the fuck out of your gym. I am telling you, every gym needs to do this because I'm not walking in a gym till I'm sure that place is clean and I'm not going to get COVID. And I didn't stumble upon it. My wife did, like everything else. And she referred it to me. Like she found this company called Eat the 80 and was like, you need to eat this stuff. And I was like, it's the best stuff ever. Well, this company, I found the company through her, and then I found the owner, and I was like, dude, you got to come on the show, and you have to tell every gym about what you're doing. Company's called Purefly. The owner here, Johnny Beal. Thank you for coming on, Johnny. Sorry, such a long introduction to you. But I think what you're doing is really cool. And maybe you could explain how you clean the out of these gyms.
Yeah. So instead of telling you about it, why don't I just start by showing you? So this is the electrostatic sprayer.
Wait,
that's what we do, man.
Wait, you just sprayed your computer.
Yeah, it's that safe. This gun has an electrostatic sprayer, and so it takes the battery down at the bottom, electrocharges this chemical, and it breaks down the micron level so fine that you can spray technology. You can spray computers, spray laptops, spray whatever you want.
Okay, can I spray?
As long as you spray it the right way.
Can I spray it in my face?
You can spray it in your face. It's not advised. It's not advised for sure. But the EPA does say that it's so safe to use, you don't even need PPE to use it.
So what is the chemical inside of it?
BioS Botanical Solutions.
Oh, BioS Botanical Solution. I know that. You know, I mix that with my tequila.
Yeah, it just rolls off your tongue.
Yeah, BioS Botanical Solution. You guys know is that stuff safe?
It is super safe. So EPA says no PPE required. More importantly, it kills COVID in 4 minutes. It's no rinse, no wipe. So it's super effective in gyms where you don't worry about corrosion on metals like you do with bleach, and you don't worry about something being asthmatic when you're spraying it around people like a quaternary ammonium.
Yeah, my problem is that I like to work out at 3 minutes and 59 seconds after the next guy. So you're gonna need, Johnny. You're gonna need to step it up 1 second, or I can't. Just kidding.
Eddie, you're out of luck, buddy. I'm sorry.
4 minutes. So they probably tested that in like a petri dish, and they like watched it just die. The virus just dies.
They did, yeah. So a lot of these chemicals that you see used in here have a 10-minute kill time. A lot of them have a 5-minute kill time. This is a pretty effective one. The only one that I've seen faster is a 1-minute kill time. We use it in hospitals, but it leaves behind a residual. This doesn't leave any residue behind when you spray it. So as soon as you spray it, after 4 minutes of it being wet, it kills anything SARS-CoV-2 related. But as soon as it dries, you're done. You're ready to go work out again.
Will it kill gonorrhea?
It's a great question.
You don't know. You don't know, do you?
I don't know that answer.
Oh my God, you could take that to a prostitute and be like, okay. Sorry, I'm back in my old days. So you just like run around the gym and you spray everything down?
Yeah, so somebody works out, they walk away, and we've used this with professional athletic teams. Was our first customer, a team here in Boston, and then we got a call from Rob Orlando, and a buddy of mine, best friend here in town that I grew up in. He works out at his gym, and he said, "Hey, can you help Rob?" Rob gave me a call, and we talked about it. Went down to his hybrid athletics down in Bridgeport. We built a plan based on what we had built with Children's Hospital of Boston and Donna Warner, their director of their child care center. And we built a plan for CrossFit gyms with Rob, where he knows exactly the challenges of a gym from a gym owner's perspective.
Okay, so it's like class is over. You got 10 minutes between class. You could spray the whole gym out, and you still have time that it's gone. Like if there was anybody leaving any of their COVID around, it's gone.
Yeah, so he showed us what a typical workout looks like in his gym.
Whoa. His workout and my workout are a little different. I go a little heavier, a little harder than Rob. So, okay, go on.
Yeah, sure. So for his 5-minute workout, you do 25. I get it. But after the workout's done, regardless of time, it needs to get addressed, right? Because everyone's breathing heavy and all that stuff you do when you work out, like you alluded to, with shirts off. So yeah, you take the sprayer, give it a spray. As soon as it hits the surface, you wait 4 minutes. It's killed anything COVID related. Oh
my God, that's so cool. This is what I saw that I was like, everybody needs to have this. I'm not coming to your gym till I see that gun. Just can I buy one of those just for my house?
Eddie, honestly, would you bring it on the show and try it yourself? I'll send you one of these, and I'll send you some BioS if you'll do it.
I will shoot that right up my ass. I am not kidding, because I know there's some stuff in there. There are viruses up there that haven't even been named yet. And
I don't think the EPA ran a test on that, buddy, but...
well, they should.
You can do whatever you want.
They should put me in a petri dish and see what's... No, I in all seriousness, I really think what you guys are doing is amazing, and that's why I wanted to talk to you, because I'm trying to help as many people as I can get their gyms back together, and I think this is one of the ways that you're going to get everybody back in the gym, because not only do you have an obligation as an owner to make people safe, but they want to feel safe. And so I think what you guys are doing is great. I really want one of those guns more than anything in the whole world. And, oh my God, I'd be spraying everything. I'd just be walking up to people and be like, COVID, psh, and just spray them. I'd be like, you can talk to me in 4 minutes. Is there a way people can find out about like your plan? Where they can get those awesome guns and the chemicals and everything that you guys do?
Yeah, there are a couple ways. So the Morning Chalk Up did a write up on us in July. They also just put out a pretty good article a week ago about chemicals, good chemicals, bad chemicals, and why it's important to use and look at other chemicals such as BioS. That was a great starting point to getting information out there. And really, if you want to go directly to the source for not only the gun, but we built a reopening playbook on our website, and there's a link right at the top of the page. So if you went to purifly.com, it's PURIFLY.com, and at the top of the page, you'll see reopening playbook. If you go in there, there's a fitness center link where it's built out, in collaboration with Rob to make sure that we got this message safely. So you understand the gun, the sprayer, whether it's a backpack or handheld, and then the BioS, and you can place the order, get the discount that we have built in with that supplier, and then like an overlay of a typical gym with a frequency plan of high, medium, and low frequency touchdowns and how to hit them during the day.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's like, people are just going to get, nobody knows anything. So it's nice that you guys have gone out there and figured that out for people. Off the subject totally. What is that diploma behind you? What is that?
Oh, sorry. That's an Air Force.
Oh, so you're a military guy.
Do this backwards. Yeah.
Are you still?
Are you still in the Air Force?
Oh, you still are? What do you fly?
Yep, still are.
What
C5s.
What is C5 the big one that carries everything?
Yeah, C5 Galaxy. It's got 28 wheels and it holds 32 pallet spots. It's the largest of the transports.
Oh, it is the largest. So how many pilots would be on that plane?
You only need 2 pilots and 1 engineer and 1 loadmaster. That's a minimum crew. But typically you have 3 pilots, 2 engineers, and 3 loadmasters is a typical crew. So an 8 people is a typical crew. And a typical mission would leave, for us in Massachusetts, we go down to somewhere in the East Coast, pick something up and fly it over to Europe. On the West Coast out of Travis, just Northern California, fly somewhere else on the West Coast, pick something up, and maybe over to Hawaii.
Are you in the reserves now, or are you active duty? What is it?
16 and a half years in the Air Force Reserve.
Oh, wow. So how often do you get called up, like to really go?
It's always been a reserve wing. So we haven't been placed on and called to active duty orders by the order of the president. But for the first 6.5 years of my service, it was 2004 to 2010. And there were 2 wars that our country was in, so there was plenty of work there, and there were a lot of people volunteering.
Yeah. So did you?
That's what I did for 6.5.
Did you have to go over and transport over to like Iraq and Afghanistan?
Yeah, Iraq is where we primarily went, and then things switched gears when we started going to Afghanistan.
Yeah, I heard it's really easy to land a plane in Baghdad.
Well, there's training for it.
Isn't that where you guys like spiral down like as fast as you can?
Yeah, there are certain approaches where you can do that.
Yeah, looks scary. Well, Johnny, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for your service, and thanks for having that incredible gun that shoots amazing chemicals that I can't wait to shoot up my ass. Check them out at Purifly, guys. I think this is a really good way to get your gym back up and open. I've been talking about this for 6 months since this thing started, so here you go. This is one of your solutions. Check them out, purifly.com. Thanks, Johnny Beal. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Eddie.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I am your host, Eddie Ift. I am here live from the bingo bus. I'm hearing a little bit of a clicking. We're having some technical difficulties again, starting off this pandemic world that we live in. I am very, very happy to have our guest today, whenever it is that you're listening to this. Our guest not only is an amazing, amazing athlete and one of the top runners from Canada, and probably in the world, but he also can drink a beer better than anyone you know. He is you're on the Canadian national team, I assume, correct?
Yeah, and working my way, hopefully, to make that Tokyo team.
Yes. So I'm talking to Corey Bellemore about what's going on with the Olympics. What event are you trying to qualify for the Olympics in?
Trying to qualify in the 1,500 meters. So in Canada, we call it the metric mile.
Why is that? Is 1,500 actually the mile? Why do they go 100 meters shorter?
I don't know. The mile, I'm not sure what came first, whether it was the 1,500 or the mile. But yeah, the 1,500 is what's been raced, at least in Canada, for the longest time. I know. I think in the States and maybe UK, they started doing the mile a lot more. But yeah, I think the 1,500 has always been the Olympic event.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I thought the Olympics was a 1,600. That's pretty funny. And does it make a difference? Are there guys that are like, I don't know, I just, it's that 100 meters, I just do way better?
Yeah, like it changes I know it sounds stupid and crazy, but like 100 meters does change the dynamic of the race just a little bit. Because you think like most people in the 1,500, they start going lactic or start feeling that true pain the last 100 meters. That's what can decide like first to sixth or so. Would you say?
Oh, sorry.
Crazy.
Would you say that last 100 is that last 100 meters? Does that could that be mental that you start going lactic because you're like, oh my God, I got that 100 meters left?
I think so. I think a lot of mental, like your body reacts to stress. So if you start thinking like, oh, I'm tired, I can't do this, like 100 meters is so far away, your body's going to tighten up and react to that stress you're thinking about. So it just changes. If you're mentally like relaxed and comfortable and like just give it to the line and stay smooth as possible, you'll close a lot faster.
So I like that word close. I ran a little bit of track in my day. I ran in college and I couldn't close ever. That was you just gave me the word to realize what I couldn't do. I was a sprinter though, so I should. There was no closing. I couldn't open.
You should always be closing as a sprinter.
Yeah, I know. I hit the wall in the 400 meters. I hit the wall in the 400 meters at about the 300 meter mark. Let me ask you this: so when would the Olympic qualifier be for Canada?
So they put a freeze on Olympic standards. So even if people run meets this year, you can't get standard until after December 1st. So from December 1st till our trials, which are June 20, last weekend of June next year, that's when you can get the standard. And then at trials, you have to be top 3.
Right.
So I guess the team will be named after those national championships in June.
Okay, so what is the qualifying standard?
The standard in the 1,500 is 3:35 flat.
Wow.
And then there's also another way to make it. There's a world ranking system. So depending on meets you go to, placings you get at those meets, and then times you run, you can get different amount of points. And then you don't necessarily have to have the standard in order to go. You just have to have enough points in order to be like top 50.
But there will be a number of guys that have hit the standard, correct?
Yeah, it's just going to be hard to say like how many people have standard compared to how many people have world ranking. I think it'll be like half and half for both.
You've already run that standard time?
No, I have not. I'm chasing standard like a lot of people. So this summer was going to be the one to chase it. And since this summer's sort of been just a bit of a write-off, there's been no really opportunities to chase that standard. It doesn't even count even if you get it. So.
How far away from it are you?
Right now, I am 4 seconds off, which seems like a lot, but it's about just around under a second each lap for me.
Do you think you could run it faster if you had beers there?
Definitely not. No, not in that type of race.
What if you just chug one beer before the start of the race? You could intimidate everyone.
Yeah, but I don't know if the intimidation factor is going to get me the standard.
Is that considered a performance enhancing drink? Like if you at the start line literally like took off your sweats, chugged a beer or shotgunned it, and then slammed it on the ground, and then got to the line, would they be like, this, you can't do this?
I don't know what they'd say. I don't know if they'd laugh, if they'd be scared, if they'd think I'm like absolutely crazy out of my mind, or if they'd think all those things together. But I always joke around that, like, when I do the beer mile, sometimes like I feel like I don't feel lactic acid. Like I feel like I can just keep going and going. Other than my stomach feeling a little off sometimes, I always joke that it has like a buffer on the lactic acid you feel.
When I was in high school,
I don't want to try it though.
When I was in high school, I think you should. I think it would scare the shit out of the other guys, and they would run way slower than they've ever run.
I feel like I already have that frat boy persona that when it comes to actual track, I try and keep the beer mile a little more separate.
There was a guy that I used to run against who was really, really good back in high school. And he would come to, I was a 110-meter hurdler, and he would walk around while we were all warming up, and he would ask us how you do it. He would go, how do you get over these things? Like, which leg should I? And he used to just get in my head. I was like, why is he doing this? You know, this guy's run 13.9, and he's sitting here doing this to me right now. Shut up. And it would screw me up really badly. So I think your beer, I think you have to either beer bong it or shotgun it, though. Like if you showed up with a funnel and you're just like, go, 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 Ray, who wants to go? I swear you would win. Why do you think fighters do that stuff? That's the problem with running. You guys are too nerdy. You all come up to the line. Everybody's quiet. If you start acting like this, if you Randy Macho Man Savage it, I swear you will scare the hell out of every single guy and you will win.
But tell me, alternatively, what if it goes absolutely terrible and I'm puking and getting last place? Then what?
You're going to be the most famous guy ever.
You think still, even if it goes bad, it'll still be a win.
Okay, let's be honest. Where have you gotten more fame? From your running or your beer miling?
Oh, no doubt the beer mile.
Right.
No doubt.
Where have you made more money? Beer miling or running?
Beer mile.
Yeah. Okay. All your sponsorship comes from beer mile, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say 80% of it at least.
Okay, so we're on to something here, aren't we? If you look at most sports, the guy sometimes who is the biggest, highest paid guy isn't the best guy. Now, I get it that you want to make the Olympics and you want to be the best runner you can possibly be and see how far you can push your body. That's admirable. But listen, as your agent, now I'm taking that job. We are going to make you the most famous runner in the world, because when you show up at the Olympics, and what's your beer sponsorship? Who do you drink for?
Flying Monkeys.
Flying Monkeys.
Barrie, Ontario.
You show up with a Flying Monkeys beer. You come to the starting line, and you've got you're going to have to wear something a little crazier too than what they usually wear. I say full Speedo, just a Speedo.
I just say, you know what? I don't want the track attire for these Olympics. I'm going to go with just a straight up Speedo.
Straight up Speedo.
One piece.
You chug the beer, smash the can on your head or something. I guarantee no guy is going to PR that day. There is no way. You will mess them all up, and you will be on ESPN. You will be all over Barstool. You'll be on every single thing on the internet. You will go so viral, and all you have to do is practice this. If you practice it, and then when you walk up you're used to doing it, people are going to be like, oh my God. And even if the alcohol affects you, we can put water in there. No one has to know. No one has to know.
That's a sin to do that.
I know that is a sin. That's cheating. That's like blood doping. But I want to get into I have another thing. You have a twin brother, right? I know this might be cheating, but look, we're all about winning here at the Wadcast. You get your twin brother to do the drinking, you do the running, or vice versa. Is he a good runner?
Yeah, he's actually a pretty good runner. He was busy in university with the engineering program, but he is a good runner still. He's naturally pretty fit, and he does do a lot of running with me.
Like how much of a difference? Like if you guys were to race in the 1500, how many seconds could you beat him by?
I'd say over 1500, probably about 12 seconds ish.
Wow, he's good.
Yeah, so he's still pretty good.
Oh yeah. So he was super competitive up through like high school, and did he run in college too?
Yeah, up until basically he got to university. So in high school, he's really competitive, really good. Actually, younger, he was like much faster than me, much better sprinter. And then in university, engineering was pretty demanding, so he was focused more on school, and he did get a couple injuries, so he didn't focus on it too much then.
Are you unusually tall for like a miler? You seem in like any of the videos
I think
I've
I
seen.
am a bit taller on the taller side. Like I'm 6'3", so a little bit taller than most of my competition. But I think that there's still quite a few tall runners, especially in the U.S.
You're 6'3". What are you weighing in at?
I'm weighing in right now at about 175 or so.
Oh my God, you're 5 inches taller than me and weigh the same amount. No wonder you fly. No, there's a lot more to it. I don't want to take any credit away from you. I got to say, I'm always fascinated. I think the mile and the 800 are two of the hardest events in track, and then the 400 hurdles. To me, those.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really realize when they watch like a 1500 or like an 800 meter event on TV. Like a lot of these guys look so efficient, so smooth. They've been doing it for a number of years that it almost looks like a jog to most people. But if you got beside them and actually tried to keep that pace for even a lap, like you wouldn't be able to hold on really.
No, I couldn't hold on now. I couldn't hold on for a lap. I don't know if I can hold on for 100 meters. What are your laps at? About 54?
So if I'm doing an 800, my two laps are about 53 apiece.
Jeez.
And then if I'm doing a 1500 meter, my laps are, the goal pace is about 58 point something.
So a 53 is going to win most high school track meets in the 400. That's fast. I mean, I'm from the CrossFit world, and I don't think there are many guys at the CrossFit Games who are the fittest men in the world that could go out and run a 53-second 400. And that's a very...
Yeah, no, it's pretty mind-boggling. Like, I know those guys are crazy fit. Like, CrossFit is another world. Like, they're super well-rounded, and I'm sure those guys are super fast, too, if they were to run, in terms of, like, the average person. But when it comes to, like, the running world itself, it's insane how much depth there is from the top to bottom. Well,
it's weird because that's a very common run distance in CrossFit is a 400. Sometimes we do 800s. Very, very rarely is a mile involved, except in the workout, which is called Murph, which is where you run a mile. Then you do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, then run a mile. I'm sure you'd love that one.
Damn, that sounds fun, but also a bit of torture in the middle.
My friend Hunter actually set the world record this year, which I think was like...
Damn. Props Hunter.
34:13 or something in that. And I forget what his miles were in. I think his first one was like a 5.5 minute mile. I don't know what his second one was. It was a lot slower. But
a guy like him be weighing in at like 200 pounds or so.
Yeah, he's about 210. So, you know, he used to run about a 4:15 mile. I don't know what he can run now.
Oh, damn. That's impressive.
But he wasn't that big. That's back when he was a lot skinnier. He's put on the weight. I mean, CrossFit requires you to be a lot stronger than have the ability to run fast. That's why these guys, like I said, 53, I don't know many of them that could run that at all.
Hey, I'd love to watch a lot of them try. I mean, then it puts into perspective, like, how fast high school pros, like, and beyond are.
I don't think people realize how fast you guys go. Like, I know from my experience, but I just know how hard it was to run. I ran the quarter. To run a mile at the pace you're running, I've often wondered how, like, do you hit a wall at all?
It starts wearing on you. So I think, like, the first lap's just about getting out. You don't really think about it. It goes by pretty quick. Second lap, you just have to stay on the pace. You start feeling a little bit. Then the third lap is when, like, you really have to, like, stay relaxed. As weird as it sounds in, like, a hard race where you're starting to get tired, you have to just keep as relaxed as possible. And then the last lap is all guts and like just staying smooth and making sure you're turning over quick and pumping the arms.
So
but yeah, you definitely hit a wall the last 100 meters. Like that's where you really, really have to focus, because it's not necessarily about like kicking or going any faster and always. It's about like holding your form the best in order for you to keep the momentum going.
So when you see a guy kick, he's not really kicking, just the other guys are declining a lot more than he is.
I mean, definitely the last lap should generally always be quicker. So I guess, yes, you are kicking. But it's also about who can keep their form the best going into that last lap in order to have some sort of next gear. Because if you're starting to deteriorate form-wise, it's hard to get any sort of momentum off that. Like once you're starting to rig, you're done. Like if you're redlining, the race is over for you.
If you said it's faster, are you saying your last 400 is faster than your first three?
Yeah, generally it should be. It depends how the race is run. Like say there's a 3:35 race. Like there's so many different ways to run 3:35. I mean, depending if you go hard, if you start out slow, go hard in the middle and not close as fast, or if you go it slow the whole race and just the last 600 meters or so is just like an absolute sprint. So it depends on the actual race. Generally, championship races go it a bit slower. It becomes a bit more tactical, and the last lap is like it is a free for all. Like it's insane. So that's what happened at the 2016 Olympics when Matthew Centrowicz from USA, he was the winner there, and he had an unbelievable kick, and the race was slow leading up to that point, and he just held everyone off.
Do you get anxiety before the race because knowing like the amount of pain it's going to take to go through that?
Yeah, it's going to be hard, but I mean, if you have any anxiety or like nervousness is good, that's normal, but like if you have any anxiety, you're already at like a disadvantage because you're going into it scared. You're not ready for that pain you're going to feel. If you're nervous, I think you're more ready. Like, it's going to be there. You're acknowledging it's going to be there. But anxious energy, I don't think is good energy necessarily. I
would have so much anxiety. I would cry. I used to hate the 400, and I ran the 4x400, and I ran the 400 hurdles. And those always are later in the meet. And I would have a good time at the beginning of the meet because I was running the 100, 200, the hurdles. And then as the day started to wear on, I was like, it started coming up. I'm like, oh, it was like going to the doctors to get a shot or surgery or something. I was like, here it comes the worst thing I'm ever going to experience. And I think it was probably a lot because I undertrained and I wasn't, in shape enough and I hated it. I don't feel like my body goes over 200 meters. And
the thing about track meets too is like they're super long days. Like it's not always fast paced. Like it's like get there in the morning and the last event's probably at like, I don't know, towards the evening, late afternoon. So like if you're there the whole day, it's exhausting, especially if you're doing multiple events. That's why I get there like 2-3 hours before my event, and then it's not as draining to be there. Like I'm actually excited as soon as I get there to the moment I leave. Like I'm ready to go. I feel like in your situation, that's just like, yeah, all day you do your event and then you're waiting for the 4x4 or whatever is at the end of the meet. And it's just like, it's daunting at that point.
The worst because the hurdles were the first event. So I'd run the 110 first and then have to sit around and wait all day. I should have just brought beer. And,
I mean, with a 400, you could probably get away with that. I mean, it's all guts at that point, right? The training is done. If you have a couple of beers in you, I guess it's not a bad thing, but I personally wouldn't.
So are you a better drinker or a better runner?
I'd say I'm a better runner for sure, but I can just chug like whatever it is. So
you can open
whether it's water, Gatorade.
You can open your throat, right?
Yeah, it just flows down. It's pretty easy. It doesn't take a lot of skill from me. I don't know if it's like something that was learned over time or if I was training hard like as a kid and just had to chug like my Gatorade water or whatever quick, or if it's from like doing the beer mile a few times and getting good at it. I don't know where it came from.
Can your twin brother chug like you can?
Decently. I'd say he's more average.
Okay, can your dad do it?
My dad can throw it down. Yeah, he if there's anyone I get it from genetically, I'd say it was him.
So when you chug, you just open your mouth and like there's no swallow. It just pours down.
Yeah, it just pretty much pours down. I mean, there's obviously like an element where like my throat gets completely like full, I guess, and I have to like swallow at that point, but it's not constant. Like I don't feel the need to like constantly be like, I don't know. I really, it's so hard to explain it. Like there's some people in the beer mile who do like quick, fast gulps. There's some people who do like, can fill up like a lot of their throat, whatever, mouth, and then do big gulps. And then there's some people who can just open their throat. I think I'm somewhere in between opening my throat and doing like big gulps.
Okay, wait a minute. So are you a can or bottle guy?
Bottle. Yeah, it's much faster.
What's the rules now?
What's that?
What are the rules in the beer mile? Is it can or bottle?
So it has to be 355 milliliters, so 12 fluid ounces. And then it has to be 5% alcohol. Can't be like a cider or anything like that. It has to be beer. Other than that, you're allowed to find any sort of beer in that category, like within those rules. And then there's a 10-meter chug zone, 9 to 10 meter chug zone. So you start back 9 meters off the start line. You chug your first beer, do a lap, get your other beer before the chug zone, stay in the chug zone while you chug, drop your beer. As soon as you're finished, do another lap. You do that 4 times total. So yeah, it's if you puke, there's a penalty lap. Aside from that, I think that's pretty well.
Whoa! If you puke, you know you're not going to win. So don't you just go, I'm out? Or do you?
Yeah, you might as well just call it a day after that.
Or do you man up and say, I'm going to do this thing?
I mean, for your pride, you might as well just finish and just coast it in and enjoy it. Not really go hard.
Okay, so
just taking the race, I guess. But yeah, if you puke, you're done.
If I take a beer can and a beer bottle and I just pour them both out, bottle's going to beat a can, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What are the times in a bottle and a can if you just pour it out?
I think like a bottle, the fastest I've personally seen it come out is about 4 seconds-ish, maybe 3 high. Out of a can, I want to say it's about a second behind that. Okay. But like it's all about like optimal angles at that point. So like people think like if you tilt it completely upside down, that's the quickest way it's going to come out. But that's not true. It just like at that point, it just like bottles up and just it's not flowing out at all. It's sort of like foaming up and it's taking time to get out of that one.
So you want it like a 45-degree angle?
Yeah, if you flow it up at like just above 90 degrees and slowly tilt it as you're drinking it, it is always constantly flowing out of the neck of the bottle. So that's the quickest way out. And there's also air able to get through, so it pushes it out even quicker.
So how fast do you chug a bottle of beer?
Usually, like, so the beer mile, I chug it in about 6 seconds on average, just because I'm out of breath. Like, you're just trying to rush it as quick as you can. So you're trying to get the best angles you can. But I say on average, probably about 6 seconds per bottle. Some faster, some slower, but the average is about 6. I think the quickest I've ever done it is probably about 3 high, 4 seconds or so.
Oh, come on! 3? Wow! Oh my God! I used to like do chugging contests in college, and like nowhere near that. You know, we were out of like little plastic cups and stuff.
Right.
Were you a partier? Or you just knew you could chug?
No, like I was focused on like in season. I was focused on athletics. Like I was just like very, very focused, very tunnel vision on that. And then when it came to like championship season, you all the hard work pays off, and then you get to enjoy it after that. So you can indulge, you can party after that. Usually you take like a week or 2 off at the end of the season, and that's where we call like it's binge week. So you drink a little bit, enjoy like some junk food and stuff like that, and that's where we would try the beer mile. So my first time trying the beer mile was during like a binge week. After season, you're super fit. You still want to do something competitive, but like you don't care if you have a couple of beers here and there.
Right. See, I binge year, and my binge year turned into a binge decade. But I want to know, so your first time, like when you from a whole season of not drinking, you probably had a pretty low tolerance to alcohol. Your first time doing it, were you like,
I'm sure my tolerance was pretty low, but I think in the beer mile, as long as you have like a strong stomach, like throughout the 5 minutes that you're doing the beer mile, and you're able to handle multiple chugs, like it's not catching up to you quick enough where it's like you're absolutely wasted it as soon as you finish. Maybe like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes later, you're feeling it pretty good, you're buzzing pretty hard, but during the actual race itself, like as long as you have a strong stomach, so like for me personally, like I can go eat a big meal, I can do a workout right after and have no issues. Like it's not always the most comfortable thing, but like I can do it, no problem. Some guys like have to eat like 3 hours before a workout and then they're still not feeling their best, like stomach wise. So yeah, I think having a strong stomach is the biggest thing in the beer mile probably.
Well, I've done it twice. The first time I did it in like 10:55, and
okay, not too bad.
I just felt like I was burping the whole way. It was just like I was running down the street. We did it at a CrossFit gym in Australia, and I was just going running, and I couldn't catch my breath. That was the issue. I couldn't breathe, and then the second time I decided we were going to do it at Thanksgiving time at my in-laws' house, in front of my in-laws, my wife's grandparents, everyone, and I puked in the driveway in front of everyone. Yeah, that sounds
pretty rough.
I heard my grandmother-in-law say to my wife, "Really, you married this?" Yeah, that was
yeah, that's a bad look.
That was a low moment. I think I puked on beer number 2.
Jeez, yeah, that's early on. You don't want to do that.
It was a bad choice. We chose Pabst Blue Ribbon the second time. And
is that within the category? I don't even know if Pabst is. I think Pabst actually might be okay. 5%.
I don't even know, but I let them get warm because I had heard if it was warm, it was easier to chug.
It depends on the person. Yeah, some people like it cold. Some people like it a little more room temperature.
What do you do it?
Personally, I take mine out of the fridge about 2.5 to 3 hours before the race, and I find that's best for me.
Would you say you're the most famous runner in the world now?
No, I don't think I'm anywhere close. I don't. Yeah.
I think more. How many people watch one of your track meets, your regular track meets?
I think more people have definitely seen the beer mile and know me from the beer mile. But to classify myself as the most famous runner in the world, I don't think so.
I think it's you and the Kenyan guy that broke the marathon. I think that's it. I'm not kidding. When it comes to running, people know sprinters. Nobody knows the name of long distance runners except for that guy. I can't even remember his name, but see, I don't even know him. I just know he broke the world record in the in the marathon. And then I know you because like it's freakish what you do, and it's funny, and it's I don't know. It's pretty interesting, but I understand, like, it's weird. The beer mile, it seems to be like they have it, then it gets canceled, then they have it, it gets canceled. They have it like I remember the company out of Austin was doing it for a little bit. Is that where you ran it?
Yeah, FlowTrack used to have they had the World Championships every year. So I've done that one once before, and then the next year they canceled that one. But there's always a Beer Mile World Classic every year, and they have it in new places. So first time I went, they had it in England. They had it in San Francisco the very, very first year, which I didn't attend. Then they had it in Vancouver, Canada. They had it in Berlin last summer. And this summer was supposed to be in Copenhagen, I believe, but it got canceled, obviously, due to COVID. But yeah, they try and do that yearly, sometime in the summer.
So even though you're trying to make the Olympics, you're still going to compete in this.
Yeah, I'll do I always talk to my coach, and I talk to the organizers. As long as it doesn't interfere with training or racing or anything, I'll definitely attend. And I mean, it's a good way. There's a lot of good people in the beer mile I've met. It's a fun time. It takes me away from track a bit, so sometimes my life can be a little more serious, and I can stress myself out at times. But the beer mile is just like a fun weekend to relax, get with a bunch of good people, visit a new place, and then the beer mile is just it's a fun time regardless. It's not a fun event, but the whole trip in general is fun.
Would you say what percentage of your publicity comes from Beer Mile and what from running?
Probably the same amount as my sponsorships that I was talking about. So probably about 80%ish.
So like Adidas is your shoe sponsor, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Does Adidas like do they encourage it?
They don't really say anything. Yeah, they don't say anything in regards to the Beer Mile. The reason they justify the sponsorship is because of track or the potential in track. But the recognition from the Beer Mile was the thing that helped me get it, which is not talked about, but like that's fine by me.
Right. I'm just amazed that because no, I mean it's like it was on Ellen. You know, it's a huge thing, and people do it all over the United States. I'm sure people do it in Canada too. Everybody, when they hear about it, is like, I want to try it, and then you try to get them to go do it, and they're like, yeah, I decided not to, and it's like,
see, that's the thing. It always sounds like, oh, that'd be something like fun to try, or like interesting to try, and then you get a beer in, and you're like, why am I doing this? This actually sucks. Like my stomach doesn't feel good. The running isn't fun during this. Like, this makes no sense. Why do people do this?
How?
But it also, like, I feel like in order for people to like understand like about the Beer Mile or how it feels, they have to do it. Like, you can't just watch and be like, damn, that guy, like, he can easily suck him back. Like, doesn't look like it hurts. Like, that's insane. But I feel no different than anyone else. I'm just able to, like, I don't know, go a bit faster, I guess. I still feel the same.
I feel like it helps that you're larger too. Like,
that's what a lot of people say. They always say, like, man, you're taller than most, so like you have a lot of place to store the alcohol, or like it doesn't hit you as hard, or like your strides are longer, so you can run faster. But
be honest,
me, I'm feeling just as shit as you. I'm just keeping it together a bit better.
Be honest. When you finish, do you continue drinking?
Usually there is some sort of after party, so usually we'll partake in a little bit of drinking after, but
you're such a polite Canadian.
Yeah.
Like, oh yes, I might partake in a couple. I'm like, yeah, I know. You've got your like underwear around your head.
But yeah, usually like
another lap.
There's been people that have seen me like at a bar or whatnot, and like they'll be like, "Are you that Beer Mile guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they're like, "I want to chug off against you." Or I'll be at a wedding and I'll be like having a good time and with family, and like someone wants to chug off. It like that's what it always comes down to. So that can catch up to you sometimes.
Oh my God. If you're ever in LA, I need to take you to a bar down near the Santa Monica Pier. There's this little bar on the beach, and the bartender chugs with everyone. Anyone that wants to chug a beer, he will chug a beer with you. And I watch him chug like 30 beers in a day. But he's just like, you're like, hey, you want to chug? He's like, yep. And he'll just pour. It's like your way of getting a free beer. You get a free beer, and
I'm down to do that. I mean,
yeah,
I think I'd put up a good challenge if you ever had an Instagram or something. And you want to give him a shout out to do a chug off. I'm down for that.
That sounds good. So when it comes to chugging, you can pretty much beat anyone in that alone, correct?
I've seen some good chuggers, but I would never count myself out. I'd always place the bet on myself.
Have you ever been beat in chugging?
Confidently, I can say no. There's been a lot of close times, but I don't think I have ever been beat in a chug off.
You're like a decathlete. Like you're like the top of two skills. I mean, I'm just amazed by this. This is phenomenal. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with this and think it's like people that listen to the show, it's a CrossFit show. And I'm like, he's got cross fitness. He can chug. That's definitely a skill and a physical feat. And then he can run like the wind. So he's got drinking like an Amish schoolboy on spring break, and he can run like a Kenyan, like a Kenyan.
I didn't know a lot of the listeners are CrossFit. That's unreal. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for those athletes, and I'd honestly love to get in that post athletics.
Well, I think you'd be good at it because I was looking. You also it looks like you could possibly do triathlons too because you've got a swimming background and biking too. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I train with Lionel Sanders. He's a Ironman athlete. We're actually doing a workout later today. So he had the Ironman world record for a bit, and there's a lot of CrossFitters actually that follow his like YouTube channel and social media and stuff. But yeah, he's an animal.
What's his name again?
Lionel Sanders.
Lionel Sanders. There's CrossFit's big in Canada, and there's a couple CrossFit athletes that are just phenomenal. Patrick Vellner, Brent Fikowski. There's I'm trying to think of some of the others. They're so good, and the
best CrossFitter in the world is from the U.S. somewhere, right?
Matt Fraser. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is he a young guy?
I think he's about 30.
Okay.
But when I go to Canada and work out in Canadian gyms, because when I'm on tour doing stand up, I go to different gyms all over I go to different cities every time, and I have to find a new gym to work out in. And I can honestly say that when I go to Canada, the workouts are twice as hard.
Damn.
Yeah, I feel like Canadians have this like weird like farmer hockey player like, yeah, we'll do it. Go ahead. Hurt us. Like it's just, they come in and they like snow boots, I guess, like, and they take
Canadians
them off.
Do have that gritty like chip on their shoulders type of personality sometimes, so, especially like out in the country.
I mean, the number of people compared to the United States, what are you, about 6? How many million do you have there?
What's that, sorry?
What's the population of Canada?
It's about 30, just under 40 mil, I think, 35, somewhere 35 to 40 mil, somewhere
right.
there.
So you have like 10% of our population. So
yeah, we have like the population of California, essentially. Right.
So obviously you're not going to be as competitive in sports just because of the numbers. Mm-hmm. However, it just seemed to me that you're better in many, many, many ways because there's like a toughness. I think it's just like, Canada's big open space, a lot of farming, a lot of oil. It's just like freaks. I go up there, everyone's bigger. The guys are just bigger. I'm like, what do you eat up here? Do you just like tear a cow down in a field and just start just ripping meat off it and start eating? And so that's why I think there's a lot of really good CrossFitters from Canada. And I didn't know. I mean, how do you guys do running wise?
Running wise, top end, we have really good like Olympic team stuff like that. It's just we don't have quite the depth as the US. So like our top guys will be pretty comparable to anyone else. But like our second and third in each event would drop off a little bit more. Not that they're not good at all. They're still really good athletes, still competitive, like on an international stage. It's just they're not quite at the top tier.
Well, you had one of the greatest track coaches of all time, Charlie Francis, who basically wrote the Bible on sprinting, that I think everybody still subscribes to. And but you don't have the weather, though. I feel like everyone, I don't know if you do, you probably run a lot better in warm weather, correct?
Yeah, and a lot of people like will do training camps in the state, different parts of the states, just because, that's where the climate is better. Like, if you're going to move anywhere in Canada, Vancouver's the place to move to, just because, it's a lot of rain in the winter and stuff like that, but it never really gets too cold. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it stays anywhere from, like, 0 to 10 degrees. So that's, like, the best, I guess, in Canada you're going to get, but still, it's better to go to, like, Florida, like, somewhere in California, anywhere like that. And then even altitude-wise, like, we don't have any, like, cities or towns that are at altitude with facilities and stuff like that. So at least if we go to the States, you can go to like, where can you go? You can go to Flagstaff. You can go to, there's honestly so many places at altitude that you can fully train at. Right.
That's my buddy Hunter does that. He goes to Colorado and runs there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
But, I had another question for you that, I have a whole bunch of questions from some fans, and they're actually better than my questions. Usually they ask dumb questions, but somebody wants to know what would be harder. This is Maddie McFly wants to know what would be harder, the beer mile or the milk mile.
Oh, I've talked about this one, and I've thought about it quite a bit. I think a chocolate milk mile or a milk in general mile would be, I think it'd be tougher because it's a lot thicker content. Usually most people have like one glass of milk and they're good to go. So there's no real, like, no one really sits down and has like 4 glasses of milk at like any given time. So I think your stomach is just not used to that. And it's just like, I don't think it would respond well to chugging it constantly over a 5-minute period.
Do you practice chugging at all?
I think jokingly I do. Like I'll just be like, oh, I'm gonna chug this water. And now that I do the beer mile, but like before that, no, it was just like if I'm like thirsty after a run or something like that, I would just chug my water, Gatorade, like whatever it was, like sports drink, whatever. But I don't go to my way to be like, all right, I gotta get my time down to this chug. Nothing like that.
Cannon, I'm never gonna pronounce your name right. Cannon Krebahene. Cannon Krebahene. Just said you're incredible. He did a beer mile the other day, and first time 17 minutes, and I puked on the fourth beer. It's okay.
That sounds rough.
I puked number 2. Don't worry about it, dude.
Yikes.
Tropical Speed wants to know what would, other than this, what would your aside from running, what would your sport be?
What my sport be?
Yeah.
Other than running?
If you weren't running.
Like, in this specific position that I'm in, like I came from a swim background. I really like and appreciate the sport of triathlon. So I'd say that. But my first sport I truly loved was basketball. So if that'd be like a dream sport that if I could do one of them, I would love to play basketball professionally.
Do you still play?
I mean, I dabble. I mean, I'll shoot hoops with my bro outside, play some pickup games, stuff like that. But I don't play in any competitive leagues or anything.
I was just going to say, but like, don't you have to be careful? You don't want to, roll an ankle or anything.
Yeah,
like
you do got to be careful. Like, you can't do anything too excessive. But I mean, at the end of the day, you also got to live your life. You can't hold back in every single way just to. You don't want to drive yourself crazy by focusing on one thing way too much. So it's a bit of give and take. You got to be smart, but you also got to live a good life too.
The real Matty Hands is saying, what would be more impressive, a sub 6 minute beer mile or sub 6 minute in and out Fran? Fran is a workout in CrossFit where you do 21 pull-ups, 21 thrusters, which is a squat into a push press with 95 pounds. I don't know what that is in metric. I only know grams. So you do 21. I think it's no. I was going to tell you the wrong weight. But you do 21 thrusters, then you do 21 pull-ups, 15 thrusters, 15 pull-ups, 9 thrusters, 9 pull-ups, and like the best in the world can break 2 minutes. And I think I don't know what an in and out Fran is. I'm interested. I sounds fun. Anything that involves not having to do the workout the right way, I'm in. But I have a feeling that you're gonna have to eat like a double fries and a shake.
I think that sounds harder, to be honest.
Oh, way harder.
Yeah. Oh yeah, way harder.
Way harder. Here's the best question of all. It comes from Jeremy Lesniak, who actually has been a guest of the show. Good guy. The beer mile is about as niche as an athletic endeavor as you get, so why do it? I think you answered that by saying, it's just fun, and it's a way to let off steam.
Yeah, is he saying why do I do it?
Yeah.
Honestly, just it was like an off-season thing, just like to see if I could break a world record, and I didn't like want anything out of it. It was just a competitive achievement I wanted to get, and I broke it, and then that was the end of that, and all of a sudden it blew up, and I got on a plane like 24 hours later, went to a competition in England, and it sort of like the beer mile took me under its wing. So like I've got a lot out of it. It's like helped me a lot in many ways, and I mean I've met so many good people, like I said, and I think if anyone was in my position, they would understand why I do it.
Oh, I don't think you needed to justify that. I think all you needed to say was, I'm a rock star, motherfucker. That's
Here, you said it for me. I was waiting for you to say
you
that.
You skyrocketed to fame through running 4 laps with 4 beers. There's no reason to ask that question. How many TV appearances did you do through it?
What's that?
Did you get on a lot of TV shows from it?
I was on TMZ. I think that was the biggest, and then there was like tons of articles. Oh, I guess have you heard of TSN?
No, what is TSN?
So it's like basically the ESPN equivalent in Canada. So they did like a 10 or 11 minute documentary on the beer mile. So they came to my hometown, did 2 or 3 days of filming here, and then they went to Vancouver when the World Classic was there, and did a bunch of filming there, and then they made like a little documentary on it. So if you search like beer mile on YouTube, it should be like one of the first videos.
That's pretty cool. I've watched a lot of the videos because people are always, when I tell people, I always say, hey, guess, how fast do you think the fastest beer mile is? And people always go, I don't know, 9 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, try. What's your time again? 4:30?
4:33. In Vancouver, I actually ran 4:23, I believe it was. And I was rushing the hell out of that race. I knocked over one of my beer, I think it was my third beer I knocked over, so it foamed up a lot. And yeah, just rushing in general. So I left a little bit of beer in each, like after each chug. And then at the end of the beer mile, they measure your contents. Sorry, I forgot to mention this rule. So you're allowed 4 fluid ounces at the end. Because when you're chugging that quick, there's going to be a little bit of foam that settles after every chug. And I just had too much, so I got DQ'd in that race. But I still had like a ton of alcohol in my stomach and was still running really fast laps. It's just I was rushing probably about a second too fast.
How fast do you run the laps in the beer mile?
I run it like sub 4 minute mile pace.
So 50,
like 59 or so. Average.
So you lose about 6 seconds, 7 seconds with the beer.
Yeah, approximately. So like stopping to grab the beer, popping off the top, chugging it, putting it down, and then running.
And your beer chugs are at what in the race? About what, 5 seconds?
Beer chugs are probably about 6 on average, 6 seconds. So yeah, to get the beer, pop it off, everything, that's probably about 7.5 seconds or so.
Wait, you have to take the top off of it?
Yeah, I run with an opener the whole time. It's pretty wild.
That's the best part of this.
A lot of beer miles will use like a gardening glove because they have twist off.
Mm-hmm.
I made the mistake of my first beer mile. I just got pop tops. I didn't know they were pop top, and then I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? So I just bought a beer opener and ran with that, and I've been using the same one ever since like 2016.
That's hilarious. You have your lucky. Now
I do. It's traveled with me to England, to Vancouver, to Berlin, to California, you name it.
Hold on. As your agent, we need to get your signature beer opener. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
You got to sell them on your website.
That is not a bad idea.
Yeah, for sure. And you
sounds like interesting revenue stream.
Yeah, you just get like a little grip on it, so it feels good in your hand while you're running. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jeremy Lesniak had another really good question. He said, what's the best way to cheat at the event? Let's say I was going to throw down on a beer mile with some friends. What could I do to give myself an unexpected advantage that might not fly at an official event?
Wow. I don't endorse cheating of any sort.
Okay. Listen, goody two shoes. Listen, I'm probably going to do it against Hunter. He's going to beat me, but I'd like to. Jeremy's asking for me, basically. I
would say just get rough in the chug zone. Like, I mean, keep up with him during the laps, and then in the chug zone, knock him a bit, get him off his game. I think that's the best thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen some beer miles as they leave the chug zone before they because we put our beers in a bin, and then they get measured out after to make sure there's not a lot of content left in them.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some people point their beer bottle down, empty out the leftover contents, and then keep running.
Oh, cheaters. Which
I've never called anyone out, but I've seen it happen. And I mean, if you want to be discreet, that's a good way to be discreet and cheat.
Okay. I'm thinking about if a bottle manufacturing place can fill my bottles with water. I'd still lose to Hunter. I would still get crushed. Somebody said, John Ware said, is drinking even fun for you anymore?
There's a time and a place. I think it's a good time. If I like celebrating things, man. If I'm working hard all year and I can sit down and actually sit back and realize how hard I worked and then celebrate it. I think those are the best drinking moments, just to enjoy the moment. But other than that, I don't like just to party hard just to party hard. I get enjoyment out of being outside, being active, going on trips, doing stuff like that.
Here's a good one. This is a great question by John Bender. What's the maximum distance you think you could go while keeping a beer every quarter-mile ratio?
There is a beer 2 mile.
Oh,
actually, which is like pretty wild. Like, it's pretty mind-boggling. I think the world record is like 11 minutes something by Jim Finlayson out of Victoria, Canada. So Canadians just happen to be very good at the beer mile. But yeah, I think I could do it 2 mile, but I don't know if I will in the near future ever.
I would have zero interest in doing that. When I was younger and I used to like to drink a lot, we do keg races, we do case races. We never involved running. I would always run after I was drunk. Like one time I did the power hour where you have 60 shots of beer in an hour. And I got up and I couldn't stand. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize I'm that drunk. I forget how many beers that is. It's like 6 beers or something. 8 beers maybe in an hour. And I stood up and I was like, wow, I'm shit-faced. And I was too drunk too quickly. So I was like, I'm just going to go for a run to make it wear off. Because back then I didn't understand science. And I thought maybe alcohol, running, elevating, your heart rate would make, perspiring would make my drunkenness go away. And no, I just ran into a couple parked cars. So I have seen online where guys, I think I saw a half marathon. I don't know if I saw a marathon where a guy stopped every mile and drank a beer. And I think if you can tolerate a case of beer, I think it's possible to run a marathon. Beer, or mile, then beer, mile, then beer, then mile, then beer. I think that is.
I have seen that. I think it was a guy at Notre Dame University. I think he did a half marathon doing that every mile.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was. I'd like to see, and I challenge anyone out there. If you die, I don't want to feel guilty. So only if you really know you can do it. I'd like to see somebody do a marathon with 24 beers also.
Wow. Yeah.
26 beers. 26
wow.
beers.
You'd have to be like Andre the Giant type drinking capabilities.
But there are some weirdos out there. Like that guy down at that bar I'm going to take you to at the Santa Monica Pier. That guy could drink 24 beers, no problem. Although he's going to need a wheelchair to just get around a track. I mean, he's that fat.
Does it show that he drinks a lot? Like, is he a bigger dude, or does he look?
Yeah, he's a giant. Yeah. But he I
was gonna say, yeah, because like, I mean, that's a lot of extra calories per day if you're doing that.
He looks like the fat guy in every fraternity house. He's like that guy where they're like moose, 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 and then he comes out with his underwear on and he crushes 2 beers on his head and then he does a backspin and chugs a beer.
Just an absolute meathead.
Yeah. Jeff Haynes wants to know. We kind of answered this question: is it better to drink warm beer or cold beer? And you say about 2 to 3 hours out of the refrigerator.
Yeah, so like I'd say it's coolish. It's cooler than room temperature, but it's closer to room temperature than it is like ice cold.
Well, there is your answer. If you ever come to LA, I would love to. We'll organize a beer mile, and I'll bring all our all-stars in.
Yeah, let's do it. That'd be awesome. You have to take me to a CrossFit gym after too.
Yeah,
like, not right after, but like.
So how long do you think your running career is going to last before you switch over and do like triathlons or
They
CrossFit?
say usually the prime for like middle distance athlete would be, it's usually about like till about 29, and that's like your prime, 28, 29, somewhere in there. So probably go for another like 5 years or so.
How old are you right now?
I'm 25. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a while. The good thing,
and I might dabble in the triathlon from, like, depending what happens in the next couple of years. Like, I've always wanted to do that, and like, I don't want to give up my passion of track and field yet because I think I have a lot of potential and I have a lot of unfinished business. But triathlon's definitely something in the near future I want to compete in.
Sounds like you do have a lot of potential and a great future. But I'm sure with your background in swimming and biking, you would pretty much crush it in triathlon too. What's the longest distance you've ever run?
I've done the longest distance I've ever done is I did a 31K long run before. So that's my longest run ever. It's just, as a middle distance runner, there's
You don't
no
mess
need
around.
to go much
Right,
longer
right.
than that. You don't want to sacrifice like volume for speed at some point. Like you want to keep a lot of your fast twitch muscles.
When you did the 30K, was it at any point, was it difficult?
It was in Hawaii in the blazing heat, so it was honestly difficult pretty much the whole time. And I was with Lionel Sanders, and it was right before Ironman World Championships. I think it was like 3 weeks previous to that, 4 weeks previous. And we were going at like a pretty good clip too. I think we were going like 550 miles or so. So like not like crazy fast, but we were cruising pretty good.
Yeah. In your training, are you doing any weight training?
Yes, yeah. At least twice a week, and then another day of just like mobility, stretching, yoga. How's
your nutrition?
It's better now. Yeah. Last year, I think I was like consumed by the fact that a lot of runners I'd run against are a lot skinnier, a lot slimmer. But that's honestly not my body type. I came from a swim background. I am I guess like a bigger runner, even though I am still like slim and skinny compared to like the average population. But like when I'm competing against like a lot of the Africans, I feel like ginormous compared to them. So I had this mentality of cutting weight, and honestly, I got caught up with injuries and stuff like that because of it, I think. So I think you just got to play to your strengths. And like, I realized like my strength is being a bigger, stronger guy. That's what keeps me durable, and that's what keeps me like fast. So
you don't go to Tim Hortons anymore?
Oh, now I'm a bit more like free on what I eat. Like I don't eat like crap all the time, but I'll dabble with Tim Hortons once in a while.
I know this is sacrilegious and every Canadian's going to hate me, but I think Tim Hortons is shit. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean it's a little overrated, to be honest. Like I appreciate it sometimes, but I think I think people hold this value that like that's the only thing that's good in Canada, and there's a lot of better things too.
Yeah, I mean it's like Starbucks. I think Starbucks tastes like burnt church pews, and and Tim Hortons is even worse. I'm like the two of them should just go.
Well, I always think if you have to put like a ton of milk, ton of sugar in your coffee to make it taste good, it is probably pretty garbage coffee. So I've definitely been to some Tim Hortons that like it does taste like burnt coffee. I prefer like making it on my own or going to like a specialty coffee shop, but that's besides the fact.
Well, it's been awesome talking to you, and you'll be happy to know that if you ever do CrossFit, middle distance runners are built for it. That's kind of the sprinters, the stuff's too short, and long distance stuff, the guys are usually too small for it. So you're probably built. You're a little too tall for it. CrossFitters are usually about 5'7", the tops.
Hey, that's what they said about Usain Bolt. He's too tall for sprinting and best in the world.
I like your attitude. And this is why you are the best beer miler in the world. Corey, thanks for doing the show. Our listeners can go to your website to buy your new bottle opener that is I'm getting 50% of. And,
hey, you got to make the website for me too. Yeah. I don't even have a website.
I'm building the website. What else are we going to sell?
I got to get on that.
And remember, your next race, I want you to show up with your beer. What is it again? What's the beer that you drink?
Flying Monkeys.
Flying Monkeys. I can't wait to try that beer. You're going to chug a Flying Monkeys. You're going to smash the can on your head. And, yeah, if you want, you can take a dump on the track. You don't have to do this, but trust me, everybody would talk about it.
That's wild.
If you did that, you're going to have your Speedo on. Don't get in that because you're not going to want to run with that in. And then just take off. Even if you run, you might run a little slower. I'm not going to, but just all you got to do, just break 4 minutes and you will be on you're going to get more press from that than you will the beer mile.
Bad press is good press, they say, right?
Look at our president. Well, thanks for doing the show. They can find you on Instagram at
Corey Bellemore. So CoreyBellemore.
And soon to be CoreyBellemore.com, where we'll be selling bottle openers and
get your merch
and Speedos. Thanks, Corey, for doing the show. I really appreciate it. It was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. It was great.
All right, dude. Later.